Hello, beautiful light-filled souls. My name is Trisha Barker. I want to continue with some questions from readers, and this one is interesting because it is about intuition versus fear. And that is something that I think everyone struggles with in their life. And this question is, can the other side shed more light on one of the challenging aspects of intuition? How to discriminate between subconscious psychological fears and the no coming from higher guidance. So it's a good practice to get rid of your fears daily and to get rid of your pain daily. And one way to do this is to stand in nature and just imagine your fears draining from your body. And nature is such a healing force that it will give you freedom instead of fear. And so fear is necessary. If a bull is charging at you or a car is barreling down on you, you have to get out of the way. But many of us have suffered so many traumas that we just carry them within us, and they're activated time and time again. And one of the quickest ways to get over that is just to have really calm, beautiful moments in your life and to have many of these to counteract trauma. So one way to do this is simply to stand in nature, imagine fear leaving your body, and then imagine strength and freedom entering you, and then walk out into your day with that strength. So if you're trying to access intuition when you haven't even taken the time to really cleanse yourself of fear, then of course your intuition is going to be clouded. So if you're panicked and full of anxiety about a decision, and then you're trying to access intuition, you're probably not going to be able to, because intuition requires this gut level peace and this deep connection that overrides the brain. And a lot of times when people give a reading or they're channeling, it's as if they're not even themselves. They've stepped aside and this information just comes through them, and it's a part of who they are in that moment, but that self that's riddled with anxiety and depression and other things is no longer them. And so the message that's coming through is something greater than themselves. And so intuition, when it comes from a higher source, feels greater. It feels different. The quality of it doesn't feel like you. And you know very clearly what your anxiety and fear feels like, the vibration of it, how it makes your gut twist into different ways when you think about this outcome or that outcome. But intuition feels very different, much like a meditation. You are calm in that moment, you're centered, you're at peace, and then this wisdom simply flows through you. I've always had this belief, since I saw angels working through my surgeons, that they can work through us unknowingly, but they can work through us and we can know it and we can feel it. And that's part of the difference between intuition and fear. So if you really want an outcome that you're hoping for, but your fear tells you, no, this is not going to happen, or maybe you're not sure if that's your intuition, I would say quit worrying about that. That's maybe not meant for you to worry about in that moment. You need to come back to it when your brain is no longer trying to control it, when your emotions are not activated, and when there really is this sense of love and flow and goodness from the other side that makes everything okay. Because generally, the job that you're worried about, the relationship that you're worried about, the finances in this particular moment that you're worried about don't matter in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now. And so you're so wound up about this situation and you want this yes or no. But in the whole grand scheme of things, it may not matter that much at all. And that's what's so amusing many years later is people report, oh my goodness, I spent all this time on this one decision and it didn't matter at all, that there was something just around the bend that was magical and wonderful and unexpected. And that really is how God works a lot of times. So, on the flip side of this, I think it's way more important to center yourself in love and joy. So if one door closes, if the door to a job closes, one time I very much wanted to move to a different part of the country, and I applied like mad to move to this city. Well, in retrospect, I didn't need to move there at all, and I didn't know what was coming down the line. I didn't know a lot of things that affected that particular decision, and it has worked out so much more beautifully to have not moved. And a lot of times we want something in the moment. We think it's right, but we just don't have a full, clear view of the future and what is coming. And so, yeah, just maybe listening to an actual no is important sometimes, and that's enough. And you don't even have to access your intuition. You just look at what reality is bringing you. You can be pushing towards something, and then you can be given a no, and it can be the greatest blessing in the world. And that's what we all need to be aware of, perhaps. But as far as when you're getting a no and when you're accessing intuition, give it time, give it space, and don't ever try to access intuition in the middle of a panic attack, because you're not going to be able to. You have to be in this clear space where you have stepped out of ego, you've stepped out of your mind's working, and you really are in this peaceful place where you are connecting with guidance. And that guidance is benevolent and caring and will not fill you with lots of fear. It may tell you to make a quick decision. It may tell you to change something, but it won't fill you with great panic. That's usually ego or personality or illness or many other things. At least that's my experience, and I hope that helps you some. May you be blessed.